Hey, seventh grade. So our learning target today is I can calculate slope by using the slope formula. So we're going to be given 2 points on the graph and we're going to be asked to calculate the slope using a formula. So we're going to be on page 13 for today. So we're going to start with some definitional stuff. Definition of an ordered pair. An ordered pair is a listing of two things, such as x, comma, y. You'll notice that it's in alphabetical order. We have x, comma, y. So we're going to talk about that same hotel analogy of that's my hotel room in alphabetical order, x, comma, y. Now the order is very important. Order is very important when you're listing a coordinate or a hotel room. So xy is different than yx. You cannot switch the two letters around and call it good. It has to be in alphabetical order, x, comma, y, needing parentheses to describe. Next thing we're going to talk about is something called a subscript. Now the prefix sub really means below. So subscripts are used to distinguish between ordered pairs, such as x1, y1, like my hotel room, is different than x2, y2, like my best friend's hotel room. Those numbers, notice, are written below. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight what I'm talking about there. So we have these little numbers written below. Those are known as subscripts. That means it's just the first hotel room compared to the second hotel room. So we have x sub 1, y sub 1 is different than x sub 2, y sub 2. So I'm saying sub meaning below. That's not to a power, it's just a way that we're labeling the two coordinates as the first coordinate and the second coordinate. So what we're going to do here is we're going to compare the two. So we're going to start off by first talking about rise and run, what we know about rise and run. So what we've learned about rise and run is that it's the way we measure the steepness of a line. So as we read the graph from left to right, the hotel on the left is my hotel room in Ms. Volkman's class, and the hotel right on the right is my best friend's hotel room. So I go to my hotel room, drop all my crap off, and I'm super excited to go see my friend's hotel room. Now, we measure it by rise divided by run. Rise is that up-down movement. Run is that left-right movement. So we say up and down on top, left and right on bottom. So we're going to talk about that up-down movement first. Dropping my stuff off, I'm going to get in the elevator and I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Since I went down, it has a negative movement, a -4. That is known as my rise, even though it's a decrease, even though we're going down, so it's negative. I get off the elevator and I'm going to run 2. So my slope then in lowest terms would be -4 divided by 2. So we have -4 divided by 2. You can go ahead and use your calculator if you need it. Otherwise, it's a triangle problem. Gives us a slope of -2. So we'd say that this line has a slope of -2. Now we're going to do the very same thing for calculating slope. Well, not the same thing. But we're going to say, well, what happens if I were to take that graph away? What if the line wasn't there and the only thing I knew is the location of my hotel room and the location of my best friend's hotel room? What would I do then? So we're going to talk about what we would do then. We would use this formula. Now we're still measuring rise divided by run. It just looks a little bit different. So we have to visualize that the line is gone and I only have these 2 hotel rooms. So we're going to go ahead and label the hotel rooms as x1, y1, x2, y2. x1, y1, that's the first hotel room, that would be mine. And x2, y2, that's the second hotel room, that's my best friend's. My hotel room over here is located at -2, 3. -2, 3. My best friend's hotel room is located here at 0, -1, 0, -1. So if we go through that formula of y2 minus y1, it would look like this. So we're going to make ourselves a box, and we're going to say, well, there's y2 minus, whoops, sorry about that. We're going to make another box here, minus y1. And we're going to divide that by x2 minus x1. And really it's going to be a situation of just putting things in the box. So as I start to solve that, I want to find the slope of this line, the line of these 2 coordinates. So I'm going to go ahead and look for this y2 value. The y2 value, I'm going to grab the -1 and I'm going to put it in the box, the y2 box. So it's just a matter of putting the right thing in the correct box at this point. And then I'm going to grab the y1 value. And the y1 value I'm going to put in that box, which gives me a 3. Now, if this video is going too fast, you need to stop it, pause it, and rewind it. So we really have -1 minus negative 3 at this point. Negative 1 minus negative 3 in the numerator. In the denominator then, we have x2 value. The x2 value would be in this box right here, which would have a value of 0. x2 value is 0. And the only thing that's left then at this time is this x1 value. And this x1 value has a value of negative 2. Be very careful. There is a negative there, negative 2. So cleaning this up then, we would stop, chop, chop. That numerator gives me negative 4. And I stop, chop, chop. That denominator gives me 2. Cleaning that rest of that problem up, we have negative 4 divided by 2 here. Negative 4 divided by 2, which does indeed give me a slope of negative 2. So you can go ahead and see that the slope when we measured rise and run matches the slope when we use this formula. So it doesn't matter if you have a picture of the graph or not. We can get the slope either way. All right, so we're measuring the steepness of that line. So as we move on now, we're going to gradually take the graph away. So I'm going to work in this box over here on the left. I'm going to do it both ways again. I'm going to use what I know about rise and run, and then I'm going to prove using the formula that it works. So I'm going to start on the graph here, and I'm going to identify the 2 hotel rooms. Of course, the one furthest left is mine. The other one is my best friend's. I'm going to use what I know, and I'm going to use rise over run. So we would say up and down on top, left and right on bottom. So we're going to go to my hotel room, drop all my stuff off. Super excited to go see my friend, so I'm going to do up and down movement first. Rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since I went up, it's a positive 6. Get off the elevator and run 1, 2, 3 units. So my slope here would be a positive 2. Slope would be a positive 2. My job then is to use this formula to prove that the slope is equal to 2. So we're gonna think about this as if the hotel or the graph was gone, and all I know is that this is where I'm staying and this is where my friend's staying, but I do not have a picture of that red line. So you have to visualize that the red line disappears. So the coordinates then would be x1, y1, my hotel room, and x2, y2, my friend's hotel room. My hotel room is located at 0, negative 3, and my best friend's hotel room is located at, right here, 3, 3. Using our formula then, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we have this formula here, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now because of space, I'm going to have to go ahead and write this to the right. So as I start to plug in the values then, my y2 value is 3. So I'm going to put a 3 in that spot, but I'm going to write it over here because of space. My x2 value, my y1 value is, be careful on this now, is a negative 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put a negative 3 in that spot. Watch your signs there. As I continue to work on, my x2 value is 3. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 3 in this spot. And my x1 value is 0. So as I stop, chop, chop, and work my way through this, stop, chop, chop the numerator, I get 6. Stop, chop, chop to the denominator, I get 3, which does give me a slope of 2. So we can see that the slope using rise, run, and the slope using the formula, either way, the slope is 2 for this particular problem. Okay, one more where we still have the graph. We're going to prove it both ways, and then after that, we're going to start taking the graph away. So we're going to go talk about rise and run here. Up and down on top, left and right on bottom. Now, some of you might be able to look at that graph and say, wait a minute. That is not a scary line at all. That has a slope of 0. If you think of slope man saying positive, negative, positive, negative, undefined, and 0. There's our slope man. So you would say that has a 0 slope, but let's prove that. So if I drop all remember my hotel room is on the left, my best friend's hotel room is on the right. If I go and drop all my stuff off at the hotel room, and I'm going to go visit my best friend, my up and down movement actually would be 0, because what it looks like is that we're staying on the same floor, so we wouldn't need to get in the elevator at all. No up and down movement required there. But we are going to run to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go ahead and run to the right 4 units, which gives us a slope of 0. Slope of 0. Now, what we want to do is we want to prove that using the formula that if the red line wasn't there and I only knew the coordinates of our 2 hotel rooms, we would be able to find that same information. So my hotel room is going to be 0, 1. My best friend's hotel room is going to be 4, 1. Using our formula, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Will I still get a 0? Hopefully that happens, otherwise we've made an error somewhere. So as we start to solve then, our y2 value here is a 1, so we're going to go ahead and put a 1 in that box. Y2 value is a 1. Our x2 value, our y1 value is also a 1, which is looking good for us in that numerator because a 1 minus 1 is looking to be a 0, which is what I need. But let's go ahead and confirm that denominator, that everything looks good. As I continue to work through that denominator then, the x2 value we're going to put in this box right here. That has a value of, it looks like 4. We're going to put a 4 in that box. And cleaning up the rest of that, the x1 value has a value of 0. So we have 4 minus 0 in the denominator. 0 divided by 4 gives me a slope of 0. So either way, graph or formula, we get a slope of 0, which means it's not a scary line. We could cross-country ski. It is doable, just not scary. All right, so for the rest of this lesson, what we're going to do is we are going to take the graph away and only rely on the formula the rest of the way. So the formula without the graph. Now we still have the situation of this is my hotel room, this is my best friend's hotel room, this is x1, y1, my hotel room, x2, y2, we're going to say, my friend's hotel room. We're going to use that formula, y2 minus y1 divide by x2 minus x1. I'll go ahead and let you catch up. Y2 minus y1 divide by x2 minus x1. Okay, so as we start to solve then, the y2 value here is -2. Y2 value is -2. Put your signs there. Sorry if that's kind of hard to read. That should be a -2 in that first box. The y1 value is 7. We're going to go ahead and put a 7 in this box. The x2 value is -1. So we're going to go ahead and put a -1 in that box. So we have a -1 here. Ooh, sorry about that. We have a -1 in this box. And finally, the x1 box right here, we're going to put a -5 in. Sorry, I'm trying to write with this pen. It's not coming out super clear there. So in the numerator, I'm going to read through what I have there. I have a negative, oh my goodness, sorry about that. A -2 minus 7. So we're going to go ahead and stop, chop, chop, which is -9. In the denominator then, we're going to go ahead and stop, chop, chop, which gives us a +4. So our slope then is -9/4. -9/4. Now we would want to put that in lowest terms if we could, but that is as low as we can go in terms of factors of 9, or what divides into 9 and what divides into 4. We are done. -9/4 is our answer. That is our slope. Moving on to the box on the right. Reminder that this is my hotel room on the left. BFF's hotel room's on the right. This is the first hotel room then, and this is the second hotel room. X1, Y1, or X1, Y1, and X2, Y2 are two coordinates then using this formula. So we're going to use the same formula, Y2 minus Y1 divide by X2 minus X1. Go ahead and get that all set up. Get that all set up. As we solve then, Y2, the Y2 value is 5. Y2 is 5. The Y1 value, as we graph for that Y1 value, it has a value of 0. The X2 value is 4. So we're going to go ahead and put a 4 in there. The X2 value is 4. And the X1 value is 3. Cleaning this up then. In the numerator then, as we start to solve, 5 minus 0 is 5. 4 minus 3 is 1. So we do have a slope of 5. The whole number 5 there. Slope is 5. There's our answer. Now if I'm going too fast, if you have a substitute today, go ahead and tell they have the sub pause it so you have time to write notes down. If you need to rewind, go ahead and rewind. We have 2 left before our summary. 2 more chances at practicing how do we find a slope of a line, still doing rise over run. You're still doing rise over run. It's just that we don't have a picture this time. So as we start to solve, this is my hotel room. This is my best friend's hotel room. So we have x1, y1, and x2, y2. Formula then says y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Go ahead and get that set up. Looking for the slope of the line or the steepness of that line. Y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, here we go. So we have y2 is 5. The y2 value is 5. Keep plugging the right things in the right spots. The y1 value is 1. So we have a y1 value of 1. The x2 value is 1. So the x2 value is 1. And the x1 value is -4. Really make sure that you drag that negative with you. Do not lose the negative on that sign. As I start to solve them, we stop, chop, chop numerator. We stop, chop, chop denominator. So we get 4 over 5 as our slope of that line. 4 over 5. Go ahead and check your work there. 5 plus -1 on the top. 1 plus +4. Once we chop through that, we end up with getting a slope of 4 over 5. All right, last problem for our classwork, and then we'll hit that summary. Here we go, 7th grade. So we have my hotel room here, best friend's hotel room here. This is the first hotel room. This is the second hotel room. So we have those subscripts, x1, y1, x2, y2. Formula says y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So we're looking for the steepness of this line. We are still measuring rise over run. We just lost the picture of it. So this is kind of our plan B. When the picture goes away and we can't rise run it, we can't do the up and down on top, left and right on bottom. Picture's gone. We're going to go plan B. What do? Use this formula. We start putting the right thing in the right box now. So we have y2, which is -1. We have a -1 here. Minus y1. The y1 value is +1. Over here then, we have an x2. The x2 value is 4. So we're going to put a 4 in this box here. And the x1 value is -2. -2. Watch your signs here. In the numerator then, I stop, chop, chop. Numerator gives me -2. So a -1 plus -1 should be a -2. In the denominator then, I stop, chop, chop, which gives me a +6. Now, -2 over 6 is not in lowest terms. Both of those values are even, so we can divide the top by 2, giving me -1. Divide the bottom by 2, giving me 3. Now we've hit lowest terms and we have the slope. The slope of that line is -1 over 3. -1 over 3. So for our summary today, our summary is going to be that we just are going to use this formula y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Your job is to finish all of page 14 for homework due tomorrow. Have a fabulous day, 7th grade.